I'm Ariel Hyatt, and this is the CyberPR Music Podcast, dispatches for the new music business. This show is all about helping independent artists stop chasing buzz and start building bonds, real fan relationships that lead to income and long-term, fulfilling careers. Welcome to Sound Advice. This is Ariel, and today we are going to be talking about the top of the bond marketing funnel, which is brand pillars, fan personas, and voice. This is Lauren Bearman. He is my friend for 20
years, maybe?
20 years.
Yeah.
He has been working with CyberPR for over a decade. He is the most extraordinary bio writer.
Thank you.
Welcome to CyberPR
Thank
Podcast.
you.
So I'm really excited to have you here because voice is key.
Yeah.
And in my mind, the foundational work that all artists need to do is create a bio. But I think that when artists begin to think about bio, they think about it and go at it the wrong way. And the reason why we love working with you is, A, you've never rejected a single bio. All the bios that you've ever written have never had a rejection, not even more than 2 or 3 sentences. So that kudos.
Thank you.
I'd love to hear a little bit about your background.
Yeah.
'Cause
Okay.
I think it's super cool.
Okay. Playing guitar was the big thing for me, playing in rock and roll bands when I was like a teenager. And then parallel to that, I was really into poetry and reading and just the arts in general. And I got into the punk rock movement, I guess, right before Green Day and Rancid, but during that time. And at that time, zines were a big thing. And ironically enough, it was a horrible wreck. I remember in college, my teacher said to me, you should go back and revisit remedial grammar. And so I went back home and I took out my 6th grade grammar book and I just revisited it. I learned how to write from, I guess I just didn't have the mind when I was a kid.
Wow.
As my music career got bigger, being in bands that toured and recorded records, I started writing for zines and these two lanes coexisted. I remember I was on the Warped Tour and I was writing a column for Guitar World. I had gone to journalism school and I had become a pretty good writer. I wrote a cover story for the Village Voice, started just becoming a pretty in-demand writer, 90s, 2000s and stuff. He asked me to write a bio, wrote what I thought was a great bio, and the label was like, this is not a bio. And I was like, how can this not be? It seemed like the simplest thing to do. You write about yourself. Started working at record labels, and I was an A&R guy for 8 years, sat in tons of marketing meetings, got to see how people market albums. And then I had a baby and someone said, you might want to augment your income. You want to do some like writing. And so I started writing bios. And one of the first people was Joe Jackson.
Wow.
And I hit the ball out of the park with that one. And it's been going ever since.
So when you think about crafting a bio, I always say to you, okay, what is the signature story?
Right.
That's the piece.
Yeah.
How do you pull that out of an artist that wants to tell you about where they were born and what age they were when they started playing piano, and they feel like a bio is a huge history?
Sometimes I ask the artist, like, what do you think the story is? Because people have conceptions, like sometimes people are brunettes and they want to be presented as a blonde. But sometimes in that conversation, there will be an aside that will come up and like, that's the story. You think here's like the picture, but in that corner is the story. Often I'll stop them like, how do you feel about that? It's really being a photographer and getting a bunch of angles with someone. And so most of the time in the bio, I just kind of keep shooting like a photographer, keep asking questions. I study someone's assets. Like I spend hours listening to their music, their lyrics and everything, but I never go in with, I know the story. I never go in with that. It's usually in the moment and it catches them and myself off guard. And a lot of times it's about creating a safe space, like therapy or a good producer. Someone feel like this is safe here to talk about this. I'm not using things against you. So it's a lot of balancing, almost an art to it. The art of the interview, the art of feeling comfortable with people, making people feel comfortable and helping people to accept certain things about themselves.
You just said something really cool. And I think it's part of why you're such an artful bio writer. And that you think of it like being in a studio with a producer.
Yeah.
As a musician who's been in a studio, as an A&R person who's been behind the scenes and seeing, okay, this is what it takes when you're rolling out music or marketing music. How do those things inform when you go in with a new artist and you're trying to get their story out of them?
Yeah. They always talk about red light syndrome in the studio. Like a band, an artist is doing really well and they start recording and they choke up. I've had that certainly as a musician. As a musician, it goes back to how I want someone to interview me. I think being a musician helps because I understand the songwriting process, the struggle. You want to be presented as a certain way, but a lot of times I don't have a great voice. Musicians are fragile people. We have egos and we have facades. How do we get past that? Because at the end of the day, your listener is someone who listens without that facade. They don't want that wall. The idea of cool is not connection in certain ways. It's almost the opposite. Like
Yeah.
warmth is something that people want.
Yeah.
And so how do you kind of dismantle that facade that someone has up, but without making them feel that they're like naked?
Right.
So it's a real balancing act. And being a musician helps. Being a sensitive person, I guess, helps too. I hate saying this, but also having that kind of crass marketing thing of we all can't be sensitive, falling apart people. We have to sell this. How do we sell this? I understand what works.
The music that the artist is making may not coincide with who they are as people and what their story is. How do you bridge that gap? Like, how do you make that dovetail together?
Sometimes the easiest thing is to ask like dumb questions. This would be an awkward way to say it, but there's this strange difference between your personal life and who you are and the music you make. What is that for you? The thing is to never ask yes or no questions. But I'm never afraid to ask dumb questions or that seemingly dumb question that seems very obvious. The thing is to see if someone's a talker or not. And so if they're a talker, you could just say anything and then they'll start talking. But really the thing is to figure out what is the disconnect? Oh, it could be that someone wants to create a persona.
Yeah.
And then why? And then what is that persona? And how do you feel when you go on stage as that persona? How do you prepare? And then those things will seed to you. They'll be like the connectors.
How do you draw someone out who's super introverted or maybe very guarded?
There's no short answer to that.
Yeah.
The one thing I would say is do my homework.
Yeah.
I have 20 questions for every artist and they're not the same. I'll just kind of keep pushing, but in a gentle way. You usually hesitant to talk about this. Why? What are your thoughts on this? Just ask obvious questions.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you ask 10 questions, you may find that one.
Right.
And then when you find that one that kind of opens them up,
Then you go down that
then
way.
you have to just act fast. Okay. And I'll be furiously typing, ask them this, ask them that. It's almost like drilling for oil kind of thing. When you hit that one spot, okay, that's the spot. I'm going to go there.
Right.
I'll always end a bio interview saying, I think I have everything I need for the bio. But if you feel like you're in the shower or you're walking and you feel like you have something you want to say, just send me an email or a voice message. And those artists like that, they'll be like, I was walking the dog and I thought of this. And they'll send me a huge paragraph. I'm like, that's it.
It's amazing. So it's like an after the fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes people are slow to warm up. And so you get them thinking and then the phone call ends and then they have all these great ideas. And then maybe they're not a talker, but maybe I sparked something in them and they'll email me. I can usually get them to talk, but if I can't, they'll usually do a follow-up email. I was thinking this, and it's a beautifully articulate quote. I just pop it right in.
Why are bios important right now in this age of social media and fast moving everything?
I think stories are kind of an evergreen medium for connection. We love documentaries. We love biopics. We love things that are stories. I've written hundreds of stories. No story is alike. You talked about 1 million songs dropped on Spotify. Well, like, how do you stand out? How do you connect? Connect by a personal story. Your songs may be great. It's not enough. You're like saying, help me, please listen to me. And the way you do that is a story. The human touch and connection will always cut through that. And I feel that people still need that. And so the bio is very clarifying for an artist. It may make them understand what they do. So many artists are like, I'm not really sure what I do. And you're like, well, let's figure out who you are. And that helps them because it's a very clarifying thing. And so I think bios are more important than ever in the glut to be seen and to be heard, because that's how you connect. Stories connect us.
Quick thing, if you're trying to figure out how to actually make money from your music, I've got a free training for you. In it, I break down how to move from chasing streams and followers to building real fans who actually support you. You can watch it right now at the link in bio or at cyberprmusic.com. Click on free webinar. Go check it out. It'll connect the dots.
Now let's talk about that glut.
Yeah.
The reason why there's so many tracks being uploaded every week to Spotify, and this is not a secret, is AI.
Yeah.
Are you worried that in the age of anyone can open up ChatGPT and
Right.
say, hey, chat, make me a bio. Are you worried or scared that you're going to be out of a job?
No. And I'll tell you why. It's because it's the humanness. If you look at like a ChatGPT bio, first off is that you can spot them. Secondly is that they can't determine your story. The criteria for determining someone's story is not necessarily what they think is the story. It could be something that comes up, like I said before, an aside. Bios are misunderstood. People think this is my life story. It's hard studying piano at this age. That's not a bio.
Right.
But that's what like a lot of ChatGPT bios kind of come off of. They're very linear. But what's foundational is when you picked up the piano or got your first MPC or whatever, what kind of shaped your artistry? What are the things? Was it going to camp and seeing someone play guitar? So it doesn't have the nuance. Also, the fact is that the interview process, a person to person thing, you can't replace that. You can't synthesize connections with people, like falling in love with an AI person. That connection, the artists that work together, that is like a golden moment of like disclosure and of finding out who you are. And artists frequently come back to me because it helps remind them or show them who they are. Also, all the AI bios, they all look the same, as I said before. It's a synthesis of what's already out there.
Yeah. I also realized, because I studied this a lot, the sentence structures are often extremely even.
Right.
You can always tell something just feels wrong in the background.
And there is a certain consistency, which is kind of boring.
You also have a lot of experience as a copywriter.
Yeah.
Do you help artists also bring their stories over to other platforms? And how do you know how to amplify a bio?
I try to tread the line between amplified and then ridiculous. But when I craft a bio, I try to put those 1-2 sentences in there. Usually in the second or third paragraph, they're in there. You can basically take that bio and just keep pulling from it. It's a gift that gives back.
Yeah.
So I use those kind of pithy sentences. There's marketing type things. What's your genre? Like sentences in there within reason of someone's tone. That's another thing, is figuring out someone's tone. Because some people like a real pared down tone. They're very nonchalant. Some people are really amplified or really colorful.
When you craft a bio, do you start with the music or the story first?
Probably the story, actually, because the music is going to be out there, but the story is kind of the untold thing.
I think there's two ends of the spectrum that we definitely work with at CyberPR. And one is young artists that haven't done a whole lot. And then concurrently, you have older people, especially the women in our lives that we represent. I think they're fearful of telling their age. Everything feels so youth-based. How do you approach the super young with maybe not a whole lot of history, and then older people that are maybe hesitant to go deep?
So if the younger people, if there isn't a lot of like story there, or if there isn't a lot of career experience, I like to know what music meant to them when they were a little bit younger. Like sometimes for kids, it's an escape. Maybe they were bullied and they could have this whole atmosphere of safety in music. It gave them strength. And then conversely, someone who was older. So a lot of people that are like past a certain age, like past 30, they think that like, you can't tell anybody that we're over 30. But the thing is that people they live past 30, and people past 30 buy records. They actually, if you look at who actually buys music, it's people that are older who goes to shows. So you are missing out by not just being who you are to your audience. Youth is prized and commodifying all that, but it's not over when you're a certain age. And I love it when I have a woman in her 50s who's just starting out, because there's so many other women in their 50s that like, I want to be a songwriter. This is an era of women over 50 just totally turning the narrative. Don't worry about the young kids. They may not get it. That's fine. Because there's enough people out there that will buy your stuff. With the older people, it's appeasing them and saying, it's okay to be how old you are. And in fact, it actually works for you. And I try with those artists to put their age in there because I know that connects to people. I'm 51. I see someone getting started on their career and they're 50. I'm like, oh, this is cool. I'm the same age.
Yeah. It's
the opposite of what they think. They think they should hide it because the old music business said that after 27, bye. We're in an era now where we make the shots. We as the artists, we as the media people, we make the shots. And so you can have a hit when you're in your 50s. You have a full career. You have a second act. You're missing money on the table kind of thing if you ignore that.
Yeah, totally. Leaning into the niche, leaning into the story.
Yeah, of course. All this is about connection. And there are other people who are over 30 or 16 that will connect to your story.
I love that. What are the biggest mistakes that you see in bad bio writing?
Yeah. Okay. Well, one of them is I was born in New Jersey and I started playing piano. We all have those stories.
Right.
Starting with that is boring. Also, like the artist who's, well, this new album is the evolution of my sound. That doesn't make me want to buy the album or listen to the album. But also artists who are hesitant to admit that they're part of a genre. No one likes that. I mean, as an artist, I hate when people say, oh, you sound like Lou Reed. Just embrace the things, your influences. Don't run away from it.
Yeah, running away from the genre. Like someone who hates Lou Reed is likely not going to like you.
Yeah, just embrace it.
I bet this comes up often is there's a fear about doubling down on a brand or doubling down on an opinion. People might not like that, especially in our divisive world right now. How do you coax people out from being too vanilla?
Yeah, and it's hard because there's a balance of, particularly like Americana artists, they can skew for the right or for the left because it's Americana.
Sure.
And it's a music for, it celebrates America, it critiques America. I try to be as authentic as they are. They're like anti-Trump, whatever. And they're freely saying that. I'll often ask them, I mean, do you want to go out like this? I mean, which is totally fine. Do you want me to err on the side more conservative and pull it back a little bit? I like when artists kind of just go, this is who I am. If you're authentic, you don't have to remember any artifice. So just to be who you are, that's so much easier that way. You don't have to remember this carefully crafted thing. I really focus on what comes out naturally. But what are they talking about naturally? And how are they talking about it? I love having quotes and bios. That's a good way to kind of find a midpoint.
How do you prepare? Is it visual? Is it music? Is it scouring the internet and finding everything? I know we often ask our artists, like, please provide Lauren with something. Do you go deeper? Do you like to investigate?
Yeah. I mean, I spend 2 or 3 hours on every artist before I even talk to them on the phone. So I'll read all the assets that you sent me. I'll look on the internet, look at their picture. I look at all the lyrics. And kind of what I do, I spend like a couple hours just absorbing it and not writing any questions. And then I just kind of go away from it all because I don't want to go into a bio with an idea of who they are because that just never works. It's till you talk to them. And then you can see the disconnect sometimes, you know, like you sing like this, but you're also kind of a nerd, which is awesome. That's an awesome thing too. You can be like a badass nerd.
Yeah.
So it's, oh, this person has a speech impediment or whatever. I mean, I have a speech impediment, but all these things.
Yeah.
So it's just, I try to go with zero preconceptions, but I do make questions that like, oh, why did they choose this style of music? You're a city guy, why country? Or you're a country guy, why'd you get into heavy metal?
Yeah.
And if I can find any patterns of them speaking, like if I can find an interview with them or like a podcast appearance, because you can find people who do podcasts and stuff at all sizes of their careers. So I'll listen to that. Oh, how do they speak? What do they think of themselves? Oh, there's a weird disconnect here. Videos. So I watch their old videos.
You do.
Yeah. Everything.
Bio moments you are most proud of. You've written hundreds, maybe even thousands. Are there any that stand out in your mind? You don't have to name names. It would be fun if you want.
Yeah. Julian Lennon said it was the best bio he's ever had.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I'm supposed to be writing Sean Lennon's bio whenever that happens. That could be cool. For me, I like the women who think that they don't have a voice anymore. I get so excited by that. I remember there was an artist that you had. She was a newscaster and she was in her 50s and she was just kind of doing her first record. I remember just being so excited that she's excited.
Yeah.
Because like the energy of youth and excitement is for everybody.
Yeah.
But so just seeing that passion, the big names are cool because they bring in more business, to be honest with you.
Sure.
But it's really the people that are like, I'm going to do this. I just got divorced or whatever it is. I lost my job. I got a big severance package, or I just decided, fuck it, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And those are the ones that are the single parents. They're working 3 jobs. They found time to record this record. And I'm going to do the best fucking job I can.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
What's your advice for someone who can't afford to work with someone like you, but they need to begin to explore finding their own bio voice?
It sounds crazy. Interview yourself. Listen to interviews with artists that you love and listen to good interviewers. Don't be afraid, to embrace your influences. Don't be afraid to be marketable. And then study those people that you're interested in. What's their story? What is their trajectory? So look at the stories that resonate.
How do you bring or add or pull out in a bio someone's voice?
A lot of that is literal, listening to them speak. Like, what words would they use? How do they talk about themselves and about others? Also, if it's an artist that embraces genre, there's like a whole playbook for every genre. Or I'll ask really basic questions to them. What are some descriptors for the music that you play? Like, how do you describe it? And it's a lot of trial there. It's about looking uncool
Yeah.
and asking a lot of nerdy questions. I say in their music and say in their lyrics, and it comes down to empathy too. But it's really doing your homework. If they bring you a genre, you're halfway there because you know what words work and what tonalities work in certain genres, like hip hop versus rock versus singer songwriter.
This is the thing I love so much about working with you. And it's an unusual trait. You are an unusual artist. And I'm going to tell you why I think you're an unusual artist. You don't judge other artists. You're rock. You have a very clear aesthetic. Music is very specific. How do you embrace like singer-songwriter or EDM or like super country twang without getting jaded?
You get off the couch, I'm a fan. I'm just a fan of people doing creative things. Everyone has a process. Everyone has to sweat it out to get to where they're at. And also there's just too much hate. Most of the people that are like hating aren't doing anything. There's a correlation.
That was one of the things I hated the most about being a young publicist back in the 90s.
Oh, yeah.
Like every music journalist was a failed musician.
Oh, yeah.
The level of vitriol that was being...
That's why I left it. I was a journalist and I just was like, I just don't want to be that guy. I want to celebrate stuff. I don't want to just like knock it down. And so I made a real shift in my psyche and my heart.
Lauren Bearman, you are a man among men. I am so grateful we get to work with you for a decade plus and keep writing amazing bios. I'm going to keep sending you work.
Thank you.
And thank you for sharing your perspective. I think it's really overwhelming in today's world that the traditional long form signature story. So
thank you for having me. And I learned a lot from you. I'm grateful to be here.
This is not about more followers or more streams. It's about real fans who actually support you. If you want to go deeper, check out the free Buzz to Bond webinar in the show notes, or visit CyberPR Music for over 300 articles and strategies for today's music business. Less buzz, more bond.